you had a bit of a break? Have the players been getting a bit of a rest, or have you been working them hard?
Yeah, a bit of everything. Bit of players to recharge. I think we on the back end of a lot of games, a lot of minutes, and even the players that haven't played as much as they'd liked as well mentally. Players need a bit of a break as well, because it is tough for one or two that haven't been given, as an opportunity, is it? And they've got to be working hard, but also they need a break as well, because sometimes it's good to get away from the training ground. So we've used that, but we've also worked hard as well. So we've hopefully got the mixture right. Yeah,
and you've had a few players obviously away on international duty, and some of them doing very well. I'd imagine there's some coming back with a real spring in the step.
Yeah, that's right. We've obviously Connor and Ellis was away with Wales under 21s, and we had Jake away with the England under 20s. So they've gone, and pleased to see that they've come back with a clean bill of health.
Yeah. And Ellis got a goal, and any time you're doing that, it's going to give him confidence.
Yeah, no, pleasing for Ellis to, strikers obviously thrive on confidence. So he'll be his lively, chirpy self this morning till I clip him around the ear, and then we get on with it.
And even from Jake's point of view, and he was captain in the England under-20s, which sort of tells you something about the way that they see him and his temperament, his leadership.
Yeah, no, I think the England set up the teams at 21s and below. I think are doing very well, which is pleasing. And Jake's obviously quite a popular player in the 20s, obviously to get the armband. So I'm sure they grow with confidence. But that's international football. We're back at Bristol Rovers now, aren't we? So we'll make sure we lower them down a peg or two if they need that. I'm sure they don't, but get down to the bread and butter. That's League One football for me.
And you've had this little break. I mean, do you reflect on the start of the season as you look where you're on the table? I don't imagine you're pretty positive about the way things have gone.
Yeah, you're always reflecting, to be honest with you, whether you have a break or not. You're still doing your job, so to speak, to work on the areas of the team and the strengths of individuals and whatnot, and working on that progression front all the time. So that really never changes. I think that the break, it just gives you a bit of a mental recharge from the intensity of the games. Football, especially in the lower leagues, and a lot of leagues, to be honest with you now, there's a lot of games to fit in, and there's not much thinking time, to be honest with you. You're straight on to the next game. And so like the week coming ahead, we've got Gillingham, MK Dons and Oldham, 3 games in 7 days, so they come thick and fast again.
Yeah, and some of those players, the younger ones that haven't been used to that necessarily, it can come as quite a shock. You can play a lot in the youth and the reserves, but it isn't the same intensity, is it?
No,
that mental side.
Yeah, no, and they need to hit that intensity levels for me to be picking up the points, which is obviously key. So they need to be fresh in the games they play in high intensity, because I think we're a high tempo team that likes to get the game going and game flowing and to be on the front foot. So it's important that every team that I pick that they reach the high intensity levels.
So Gillingham this weekend, rounding about you in mid-table, another good solid team.
Yeah. I know, so we're a quarter into the season, but you've only got to look at the table and see how tight it is everywhere, to be honest with you. I know Scunthorpe and I think it's Bradford that they're top two, because they've been that little bit more consistent, but then you're looking at a good 16, 18 teams that are very close point wise, and one good week and you're right in the mix, and another a bad week and you find yourself in the bottom 6. I think we're a win away from game in hand away from being 4th in the table, so let's not read too much into it. For me, it's always a case in the second quarter of the season that you want to keep seeing the performances improving. We're going to have hits along the way. How you react to that hit, that's football, and we want to keep developing this group and keep the club and the players moving forward.
And some seasons teams just come flying out the blocks and they can almost seal up promotion, not by Christmas, but they can put themselves in a strong position. A lot of teams look at that and think, oh well, we're battling for playoffs at best. But there's probably a lot of teams out there that look and think, do you know what, we're in with a chance.
Yeah, listen, you can look at all the permutations. You can think if this, that, look where they are, what happened there. Barnsley were in the bottom 4, weren't they? So you can look at every scenario. It's not where you are in October, November, December, January, February, March. It's where you are at the end of the season. That's the be and end of all of it. It's a 46 game season, so I certainly it's too early to get fixated into where you are in the table and whatnot for me, because like you say, there's loads of examples of teams that are nowhere near to be seen after half a season, then all of a sudden they climb the table and they find the momentum to get themselves promoted. So certainly not one to get dragged down on league tables this early.
I guess what I'm saying is that there's a lot of teams. Some years, some teams don't really believe they can get up to the top, but I think there's probably a good 15, 18 teams that genuinely believe that they're in with a chance because it's quite an even division this year.
Yeah, I know. I can't speak for every other team, to be honest with you. I know what you're sort of saying and sort of getting at, but all that concerns me is what we're going to try and do and what we're going to try and achieve and how we're going to move the club forward. I'm not really, with the greatest respect to all the other teams, I'm not really interested in what their thought process is of where they want to finish in the table. It's what we try and do and try and achieve.